my llama lips with my straw. Here we go. All right, we're live. And as you know from when you've been on the show before, Tamara, this is the stalling piece where we just hang out.
I love
You're
it.
getting like a little bit of sun. You're like a little cat laying in the window with the sun.
I am a cat. And look what's right beside me. A cat in the window.
Oh my gosh. What's his name again?
That one is Joey.
Joey. Because Joey is ginormous.
I know, he is. He is.
How many pounds is he? He's got to be 30.
Probably.
I think. But he's like a big, like he's just a big cat. Like he's really tall too.
He's just completely solid, really long. Like if he was to reach up, he would probably reach up to my shoulder if he was like from toe to arm.
Yeah.
He's a huge
cat. He's adorable.
I just wish that he snuggled us more. He's neither of our cats are snugglers, and I think he taught the younger one because he raised him since he was a baby. And yeah, we don't do that here.
No snuggling, even if you're tempted. Do not. Yeah.
You got to make them keep wanting more.
Cats. I think that's what I love about cats is they're interesting assholes. Like, and I say that with love because they own their own shit and they have no qualms about it. Like we could learn a lot from a cat.
Yeah, well, especially like, when I'm very emotional and everything, like they're just living their best life, having naps on the couch, and I'm like, really? Like, I'm falling apart here. Come on, help the girl out.
Yeah. Like, at least snuggle me, damn it.
I know. Well, actually, we're obviously talking about Pride Month and everything this conversation will be. And he was a snuggler when he was little, and then for years has not been a snuggler. And then when actually I came out to my husband, he was like my everything, like had to like lay near me on the bed and like just love me up and everything. And it was like these sneaking snuggle sessions and everything like that. And my family would come in and they'd be like, what the hell is going on? I don't know, maybe. And I'll tell you something.
The cat only snuggles when you're your true self. Yeah.
I'll tell you something. It's a little inappropriate maybe for this conversation.
No.
He really likes fuzzy blankets. He gets very excited about fuzzy blankets and he does his thing with fuzzy blankets. And I'm like, he's just connecting with me. I'm into what I'm into and he's into blankets.
Yes, you have a common ground.
We do.
It is what it is.
Finally, there's a space of full acceptance.
He was like, I get you, girl. I get you.
No, don't mind me over here, okay?
I love that. Good morning, Heather. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Kelly. Hi, April. The gang's all showing up. It's good. Welcome to Virtual Coffee Club. It is our place of connection and community. We're a year and a half strong now, and we keep on trucking. And I'm so grateful that you're here to hang out and have a coffee with us today. Fun Friday is the opportunity for us to meet what I like to say is our new friends that we circle and love. And some of you may recognize Tamara from being on a past show. She was a part of the Global Love Day panel with us. And she's been on my mind to bring back this month as we have some Pride Month conversations and an opportunity to share some stories. So Tamara, thank you for hanging out again today. It's so good to see you.
Oh my goodness, I am so happy to be here with you. And, our journey together, Jody, has been conversation. Like that's the first time I ever met you was joining you on the radio and everything, talking about like my community work and fundraising and stuff like that. So, it just continues to wrap around full circle every time that we get to be together and stuff. So I'm just really grateful to be here with you.
Well, and I feel like you're, not that I want to call you a character, but you're somebody who I would definitely like to have back on the show as much as you'd be willing to come and hang out with us, because I so appreciate your perspective and the way you communicate and share love. And you just, you're a doer. You're somebody who's like, if there's something that needs to get done in a community or for another person, you're like, okay, let's rally, let's do this, and you just go in and do it. And I think we need more people like you to help shine the light on how we can do that too.
Thank you.
So yeah, it's fun. But let's dive into our conversation today. So like I had said before, and I alluded a little bit yesterday to those who were joining us on yesterday's chat, that our conversations on Fridays this month are around Pride Month. And my goal is that we can hear people's stories. It's a safe place to ask questions, because I think a lot of times when we're uncomfortable at something, or we don't understand something, or we get really afraid that we're going to offend somebody with asking, whereas curious, compassion questions aren't a bad thing. And so I wanted to share some of your story and journey with us, Tamara, because I don't think you're the only one who's going through this process of life, of realizing true self and stepping into that. So I guess what we'll start off by saying is you identify as bisexual. Is that correct? Am I using the right term?
I actually identify as gay, actually, but
Okay.
if you want a term that people can more understand with me, would be bisexual, yes. But I have decided that gay is for me only. Like, there's definitions in the Webster dictionary and everything that would say that you have to be homosexual to be considered gay, and that's just not the case for me. I struggled for so many years because I didn't know about bisexuality. I didn't know that you could love both male and female, or feminine, masculine, pretty well until I really, again, if anybody knows my story, I accidentally came up to my husband in a conversation, and then as soon as that happened, I pretty well felt like what have I just done, kind of thing, because I never thought I would actually ever say it out loud to anybody in my life. So and not do anything about it as well. So yeah, I would say gay is for me, but if I was to tell people I'm gay, then they're like, but you're married. And I'm like, it's what it's what works for me on how I identify. I think also too, as a child, I was always I always wanted people to feel good and to feel that they belonged and everything. And like, I was going to marry Boy George when I was young. I didn't care if he was gay. I loved everything about him. I was going to be Mrs. George O'Dowd, man. Like, it made no difference, makeup and all,
Yeah.
more merrier kind of thing. And the way I grew up was always of just love people. And it never made a difference to me. I had guy friends starting in grade 3 that I didn't even know the words of being gay, and I didn't care. Like, that's not how he was to me. And then other friends that had finally came out later in life, like, it never mattered to me. Like, I knew what they were into without them ever having to say, but it just didn't matter. And so for me, I didn't know any different of just love is love. But then to put that love to myself, and that acceptance, and that that complete compassion wrapped around me, that was a real hard journey for myself, to actually do what I've always done for everybody else, to actually do around me.
Yeah. So when you say you came out accidentally to your husband, I mean, you don't have to give us all of the details, but what do you think sort of brought it to happen then, as opposed to any other time in your life?
Well, so by the time that I accidentally came out, I had been keeping that at bay for 23 years. Like, it started with a friend in my 20s had kissed me, and I liked it, and it kind of screwed me up. Like it screwed me up. But at the time, I was living in Vancouver on Davie Street. If you know Davie Street, that is like pride capital of Western Canada. And I never did anything about it. I didn't look at women differently. I didn't, yeah, like there is, it just confused me. And so I just, put that away. And I had plenty of opportunities that I wasn't seeing somebody that I could have, really tried to understand myself that way, but I didn't. It wasn't even a thought to do. Probably because also that was in the 90s, and as much as I lived on Davie Street and really loved every part of it, I knew how dangerous it was to be authentically who you were if it was anything different than heterosexual, heterosexuality or heteronormative. And so I just didn't really understand that. And then fast forward a few years prior, we were talking in a book club about telling a priest all your everything, and I immediately got emotional and felt there's no way, and this probably made me cry.
That's okay.
There's no way I could tell anybody my deepest, darkest secret. Because I truly didn't think anybody would still love me. And at the time, I was happily married to my husband. We've been together 21 years. I adore him. He is my best friend. And I didn't know, relationships can be their own. I didn't know what full, true love would be like, because, if I shared that with him, of course he would have to leave me. Like, what do you do with that information? I just, for the last few years, like probably the last 5 years, I had just settled into the fact that if I want to be with my husband, and I do, that there was nothing I can do about that side. So, and then a few months, so in 2018, there was a lot of things happening in my life, a lot of people pulling at me, demanding more of me when already I give so much. And I happily give so much. But it just got to a point that it was just too much. And then right in the middle of all of that energy building and building and building, and I was barely surviving, like I was barely keeping my head afloat. And but meanwhile, I'm still, doing good, doing everything for everybody, fundraising, whatever. And I went to go help somebody that really needed me. And a fire happened next door. And that was a catalyst to realizing that I can't keep taking care of everybody else. And I have to worry about myself and my home, because I had 6 kids in my basement, all playing video games, all with earphones on. It was a Friday, or I think it was a Friday. Yeah, it was a Friday afternoon. Middle of the day, and I went to go help somebody. And meanwhile, a fire hits next door. They lose everything. The only reason our house didn't burn down was because 2 weeks before we changed it to James Hardy board, which is concrete board. So the firemen and everything just can't even believe how it protected us, because we still had over $25,000 worth of damage, and it went right into I think 4 or 5 trusses into our attic. But the side of the house looked good, except anything that could be burnable otherwise was, and like lights melted. And it knowing that my children, like the only reason they found out about the fire at the time that they did was that the power went out. We don't even know how it went out. It wouldn't normally, unless, well, that's a whole other conspiracy. But my children came upstairs to say, like, what the heck, you know? And they looked out the back window, and there was the fire, like taking out our fence. And so they knew what to do and everything. And I got the call, and I drove here. Like, I didn't care. I'm like, cops, try to stop me, because actually I need your help at my house. And
follow me. Yeah.
And for hours we didn't know if we lost everything, because like there was smoke billowing out of our house, and people were driving by, and they're like, your house is on fire. But sadly, or thankfully, they had the wrong house. And a few weeks after that, I had a student come up to me and just give me a business card. I didn't even know what she did for business. And she goes, you need to come and see me. And it was therapy work, like Reiki. And she did a plethora of things. And the whole time was my throat chakra, which it's always my throat. Like, I'm just getting over pneumonia right now, and you still hear like the raspiness and stuff like that. And so she just said, you know, it's just going to work its way out over the next few days. And so I went on my merry way. And within that week, I accidentally said it to my husband. And, you know, I have moments that I wish that I never did, only because life is hard sometimes. But I'm very grateful. And
I can imagine, without you wanting to, you know, we want to protect his feeling through this piece, but I can imagine that was a bit of a roller coaster for the two of you as a married couple.
Yeah.
Was it surprising for him?
It was surprising for him fully, but it was exciting at the same time. It's like, you know, every man's dream. But when reality actually hits, what does that mean for him? Where does our love fit into that? What are you going to do with that? Things like that. So it was, yeah, and it still is, like, each and every day we choose to be together, and each and every day we choose to be our biggest advocates and fans and best friends, and love each other and give each other a safe place to communicate and to do the hard work and everything like that. It's just a matter of how each moment we're moving through it and how we're showing up, because sometimes, like right now, I'm dealing with a lot of inner child things, and thank God I have him holding me. So
it's into year 3 of that shift for you.
Yeah.
Your kids, how did they handle the transition of real mom coming out?
Oh my God, they were amazing. Like, you know, even at the time, like, I knew that voice was speaking louder, not to do anything about it, but the voice of, I just want somebody to know me fully. And to be able to share it with my kids, they were just like, okay. Like, because like when my husband and I, like, we're like that obnoxious couple at home where we're affectionate in front of them, and like they're like, come on, I don't want to see that. And we're like, so all of your friends that are going through divorces and people that hate each other that once loved each other, that's what they're used to, and this is what you're uncomfortable with. I'm like, then be uncomfortable, because this is what you're going to see. We want our children to see what love looks like, and we want them to see what real love looks like in the hardship and trying to figure it out together anyways. Not, you know, like, it could have broke us in a moment, and it could have broke us many times over. the last 2.5 years or almost 3 years. But I just, they were amazing. And then when we went to go tell my parents, it was my children and my husband that held me while I told my parents. So just every day they come and snuggle me multiple times. Like, they're more loving than they've ever been. Like, it's like they are there to protect me and remind me of that I am still lovable, and if not better, to be loved that way. So,
and I think that in society, we know that without going into a deep discussion on it, we know there's people who will accept the real you and that piece and people who won't. And we know this. But how do you feel? Like, how is inner beautiful Tamara feeling being in truth compared to what you were before?
It depends when you ask me that question. I know in the full extent of our being that I am so much better off this way, but it has come with an extreme amount of loss and pain and hurt. So.
And I think that it's important to bring that up. And that's why I wanted, to have that conversation to you, because it's not always, and not that we would want to, and it's not to prevent anybody from stepping into their truth, because I fully believe everyone needs to step into their truth, but it's not always the hallmark moment you see in a movie where somebody comes out and everybody's just like, okay, let's just carry on. There's valleys with peaks, and they're real, and you're working through them every damn day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
So proud of you. But I know it's hard, and I wanted people to know that and see that. And so we have to, in an allied like mentality, but just in a humankind, we have to love each other mentality, is just start to just accept without having to understand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the struggles I think I have had is because, like, and before we got on today, you and I were talking that I love to talk about this stuff because I felt so alone. I didn't have examples of what being bisexual or gay and choosing to be in a marriage and still live authentically full, what that looked like. So after I had come out, I seemed to like be searching, like, give me examples of success, give me examples that I'm not asking for too much, or that we can do this. Like, and nobody, it's so hard because I know what your sexual preference is nobody's business. I fully, but when our society is like, what like one of the examples, because I would, before I came out, I had the questions from a few people like, why do you feel it important to come out? Like, it doesn't matter, we still love you. And I'm like, because when I came out of the womb, I didn't have to tell my parents, just so you know, this is what I'm into. Like, it was automatically determined that I must want to be with the opposite sex. And then now, like, me being married and stuff, like, what would I be thinking to live authentically? Like, I have a very amazing family and marriage, and why would I want to jeopardize that for any minute? But nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about the struggles. Nobody talks about the journey. Like, there's some people that will, but then there's a lot of people that just roll their eyes or just be like, attention grabber or whatever the hell. sorry, I don't even know if we're allowed to swear on here. So
Yeah, you can.
and,
You can say whatever you want.
I'm keeping it PG to the HELL word. Um, so I just like, I want people to be able to ask me questions. You know, there may be some that I don't answer, but I would rather it come from me than people talking about people talking about people. And it's that horrible game of telephone. And you know for a fact, it's usually even once removed and the story is already changing. So if you got something to say to me and I'm telling anybody that's listening, like, you want to know something, how about you come to the source? Always go to the source, because it is very, very hurtful for the person that is going through whatever they're going through for stories to be made up. Like, there's stories that have been made up that I cheated on my husband, which was never once the truth. That he found out the hard way. Again, not the truth. My husband has been part of my journey the entire time, and he has been my biggest advocate of living authentically. And yes, it has been hard for us and him personally as well. Um, but he still shows up and loves me, and he still is in it as much as I am. So yeah.
I think at the end of the day, a lot of the stuff surrounds us. Really, it's nobody's business.
Mm-hmm.
It's nobody's business, but people like to make things their business. But I think for the rest of us, it's just being in a place where we accept people for who they are, regardless of any preference of anything, and carry on.
Yes.
But
I
I'm
completely
not
agree.
sure why some people don't do that, but people like to choose the hard way on a lot of different things. But
Yeah.
I know that that's been an up and down roller coaster for you. What would you say to, like, what's the solution focus of an ally for somebody from an LGBTQ2S plus community?
I would say just treat people. It doesn't matter how they identify, um, how they want to move through their life. If it has no bearing on you, it's not going to hurt you. It's not hurting anybody else. It's an adult decision being made. And also, if the person is good, like, this is where I would put in a huge swear, then remember that they're a good person regardless. Because I think what has happened for me that has really angered me is um, I've experienced some loss and some quite a bit of judgment and a lot of accusations and stuff like that, and a lot of ridiculous stories placed on me from the very people, and also COVID has not helped. It has actually amplified the bullshit um, that we are directing to people that is completely uncalled for. Because the only thing that I would say to any of the people out there that now have a problem with me for whatever reason is, do you remember my heart? It's always been the same. And if you're not willing to have conversations, I don't got time for you. Because it's kind of like what you're doing here. Like, we're having conversations. That's what people do that care about each other. That's what people do for other humans. Like, I would drop everything for anyone each and every time. And now, because of the crap that I've experienced, so I am trying so desperately to protect my heart. And it is such a disservice to my community, because I innately and naturally in every way want to be there for other people, but when you've been hurt so many times for giving and giving and giving, and that isn't given back, and not because at no time did I have any expectations on how much love I'm going to give, but I would really love it if I'm having a hard time, that it's being given back by those same people. And the truth is they don't show up because that is not serving them. So yeah, so that's where the struggle is right now, and it has been for quite a few months, and so hopefully I just continue to get more examples within myself of feeling that I can open my heart and fully fully give it again. But right now it's been hurt quite a few times. So
I'm sorry for that, but I feel to the core of my being, the love you have for this world will continue to come out of you, and it's going to get to a better place. I don't doubt it for a second. So the days you doubt it, you just call me and be like, remind me not to doubt today.
I'm going to have it on speed dial.
Yeah, that's fine. Anytime, night or day. I'm here for you. And you have a community in this coffee club. This group of people is the most loving group of people I've met / not met. So you're welcome to come hang out in here anytime. But before I let you go, because I want to be conscious of people's time, but what does Pride Month, if we have, Pride Month conversation, what does Pride Month mean to you?
Just allowing a space for every single being on this earth or in this universe to just authentically be them, and love is love. That's it.
As simple as that. Thank you so much for, just sharing your story and your heart. And I know, again, it's not easy, but it also allows you to, there's a process in conversation too that we sometimes forget. And so I hope that in some way you sharing today also really helps you.
Thank you so much. I hope there's somebody out there that is struggling, that maybe through our stories that they can have faith that they can get through whatever they're going through as well, or reach out and contact one of us, because it would be really great to be able to just remind people that they're not alone in this journey.
We got a good comment that squeaked in at the end, and I saw that Russ signed on this morning, and I thought, oh my gosh, it's divine intervention that he is here today too. And he said, it's funny that I had a moment to stop today. This topic is very close to my heart. I'm sure that Tamara can find peace and happiness, and I hope you surround yourself with positive people, because love is love. And Russ, I know, has a family member in the community, and I love, their message is always so beautiful and positive. And I'm glad you're here today, Russ. It's awesome.
Yes, thank you very much.
So have an amazing rest of your Friday, my friend. I can't wait to see you next week to get our Zumba on. Eventually, my life goal is that this woman over here is going to teach me to have rhythm, because I got none. I realized that last week the hard way. So there's my life goal.
You did
loosen me up. I was like, when did I get so stiff? What's wrong with me? COVID. Damn it, COVID. But,
bugger.
Yeah, I appreciate again your time today, your story, and your love in this world. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. Tomorrow morning, for anybody who's still with us, we have an exciting Saturday morning coffee club. We are going to double the fun, as I say. We may have beautiful 13-year-old twins who are going to celebrate their birthday with us, and we're going to learn the world from a 13-year-old's perspective tomorrow morning.
Yes, please.
I think we're going to learn a lot from these two dynamic And I'll have to be like, which one's which again? It's going to be good. It's going to be good. So I hope you will join us tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Have a great Friday, everybody.